Hi there. To start out your class period today, we're going to participate in a warm-up activity that Lisa Green and Christine Chappell from the Western New York Rural Area Health Education Center have created in support of the OPEP program, the Opioid Prevention Education Project. It also ties in with this month's student newsletter that you probably just received that focuses on primary care physician career information. So to begin, please take out a sheet of paper and number it from 1 to 5. So here are your activity questions. These will get you thinking about opioids, what you already know about them, and related addiction issues, and what might be done to address them. So answer them to the best of your ability. Leave a blank space if you don't have a clue. So number 1 is, what do you think of when you hear the word opioids? What plant is a natural opioid made from? Which synthetic opioid is so potent emergency medical personnel must wear gloves to handle it so that they don't accidentally overdose? What is one way primary care physicians can help to improve the opioid addiction crisis? And how can you help someone who suffers from addiction? So what do you think of when you hear the word opioids? When I was a teenager, I didn't have much knowledge about opioids, but I had read a book about someone who was addicted to opium, and I knew they were related to that. As an adult, and before I became involved in this program, I had a sister who had intensive back surgery, and she became addicted to the pain meds that she was given. My sister's name was Debbie, and she was the straightest person that I knew. So when I heard the word opioids, it made me think of her and how much she struggled with overcoming that addiction. It was very hard to watch. Now that I'm a little more knowledgeable, I've been involved in this program for a couple of years now, I think of the addiction crisis that's leading to overdose deaths. But I do also think about the treatments and recovery paths that I've learned about that are increasingly used to overcome opioid addiction. So what plant is a natural opioid made from? And does anyone know what this plant is? You might even have seen it in your garden growing. A lot of people plant this flower, even in this area. It's an opium poppy, and those milky drips that you see contain the chemicals that people have used for centuries to relieve pain and induce feelings of euphoria. Opioids are tools that medical providers can put to good use, but like any tool, if they're misused, they can be harmful and even deadly. Opioid use is at an all-time high in the United States. Opioids are a family of highly addictive drugs used to treat pain, and they include fentanyl, heroin, morphine, codeine, oxycodone, hydrocodone, tramadol, and there are others, many others. You might be familiar with one of these. You or someone you know might even have been prescribed one of them as a pain reducer after a sports injury or a surgery, something like that. And when used as intended, opioids like codeine and oxycodone and tramadol can be effective tools. It's when they're misused that we run into problems. So which of these opioids is so potent that emergency medical personnel have to wear gloves because if they touch it, the drug could penetrate their skin and cause them to overdose? Well, the answer is fentanyl. Even tiny amounts of fentanyl can cause respiratory distress and stop breathing. By the way, I'll go back. The only drug on that list that at this moment is not legal is heroin. So here are some things to think about regarding addiction. Addiction can happen to anyone. Some people are more prone to addiction because of their body chemistry. Prescription pain relievers taken incorrectly can lead to addiction. And teens are particularly at risk. Why is that? Because at your age, your brain is wired for certain things. The two videos that can be located at the links in the bottom of the box there in orange are really good at explaining why, so be sure to check them out sometime. They also explain why addiction is a chronic disease, which means it remains with you always as something you will continually fight against. Even though individuals cannot control a chemical addiction once it takes hold, they can successfully recover with help. So what is one way that primary care physicians can help to improve the opioid addiction crisis? Well, there's a few different ways. They can suggest alternative methods to relieve pain, such as physical therapy or massage, acupuncture, and there are other medications besides opioids they can prescribe for pain, like Tylenol, which is acetaminophen, or Advil, which is ibuprofen. If opioids are the best option, prescriptions should be limited to the exact amount that's needed, with no extra medication that would make it easy to take more than necessary. So is there hope in addiction? Well, yes. These agencies that are listed here for you, they're there for you and your friends and your loved ones, and they're there to help, not to judge. So copy down these numbers, because you never know when a friend will come to you and say, I am really struggling with this and I don't know what to do. So SAMHSA is a national hotline. It offers free, confidential, 24/7 treatment referral. They can give you lots of information on local services that you can tap into if you need help. And Spectrum Health and Human Services is another good local service that you can call that number, and they would be glad to help you and get you some counseling and refer you to the right person. Genesee Orleans Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse is there to support you as well, and they will point you in the right direction if you're not from Genesee or Orleans County. If you're from somewhere else, they will point you in the right direction. So there is help. So how can you help someone who suffers from addiction? Well, find out all that you can about addiction. Empower yourself and empower the other person with knowledge. Encourage the person to seek out help. With help, they can win this battle. But statistically, if they face addiction without help, they will likely fail to overcome. Your school counselor is also trained to help. They can offer guidance on what steps to take next. And parents, of course, can be great guides too. Well, thank you very much for letting us be a part of your day today. Please call us if you'd like more information about this or any other healthcare or health career related questions. We'd love to chat with you. We hope you have a great day.